Probably about 13 years ago, we were predominantly all merino sheep in the Walgett district. We weren't doing all that well with our lamb production as far as getting enough weight in our lambs. The market seemed to be going to 20 kilo plus lambs, and we had a lot of merino lambs that were only doing sort of 16 to 20 kilos, and some of the bigger, better pole lambs now were getting to 22s and 3s, but we were still a long way behind what we could get out of Dohnes. And since we've had the Dohnes, we put a lot of Dohne lambs through feedlots. They're very fertile, the Dohnes. We're getting a lot better results with fertility with the Dohnes, and we don't have the trouble with fly that we used to have with merinos. They're very clean around the breech and around the head, and we're finding our growers are very, very happy with them.
The wool industry through the 90s and into 2000 went through a long period of low and poor prices since the collapse of the reserve price scheme. At the same time, the lamb market was improving, so a lot of people have switched into other breeds, and I guess the growers who switched into Dohnes didn't want to walk away from the wool industry and wanted to also improve carcass fertility or for conformation, doability, and so the Dohne sheep does very well, particularly in those areas you mentioned, and yet they still have a pretty handy wool clip.
Yeah, I think it's got a couple of roles. I think critical one in the short term is rebuilding our ewe base. It's got some huge genetic potential there, particularly on the reproduction side for our standard merino sort of lines. With crossbreeding and hybrid vigour and use of the objective tested measurements, growth rate, eye muscle, fat, they really flow on to the breeding ewe side and help with her fertility. And if you have merino guys that don't necessarily want to go down the dual purpose, or if you like the pure Dohne side, yeah, just look at maybe putting some, infusing some Dohne genetics in that first cross, getting the benefits again out of the growth, eye muscle and fat, and maybe focus a bit more on the wool component if they want to.
And generally our Dohne lambs will average between 24 and 27 kilos dead weight, which is on average about 4 or 5 kilos heavier than what we were getting out of the merinos, in some cases up to 7 or 8 kilos heavier, which at $6 a kilo is a fair bit of money. If you're getting an extra 6 kilos, well, it's $30 a head more than what we were getting out of the merinos. And then with the older ewe, when we go to sell that older ewe, we were finding that our older merino ewes, most of them were in that 19 to 24 kilos, whereas in the Dohne ewe, they're generally in that 26 to 31 or 2 kilos dress weight. So we're getting a lot more money for them at $3 to $4 a kilo, an extra 6 kilos at say $3, an extra $18 for your older ewe.
The Dohnes we can turn off in 42 to 52 days. From a 35 kilo lamb we'll turn them off, and they'll be 52 kilos and above when they get on the truck. So we're getting a 23 and a half, 24 kilo average. Yeah, we try to stick to the pure Dohne just for that reason. They're easy to handle, they come onto the feed so well, and they do very well, very quickly.
Oh, well, we're virtually buying them from all over Australia. We source stock from everywhere. There's a region in Australia where they do well, and that's where it's going. There's a market for them. As we process meat now, we're more cutting the meat up into more sophisticated cuts, and they fit in those projects quite well. We've used lambs now probably from 22 kilos to 32 kilos. We fit them in with the markets we have. They yield well, and a lot of the legs we bone them out, so if they're big legs we do a lot of boneless legs into different markets, seam some of the cuts out. They work well with that, and we bone a lot of forequarters out.
Just meeting the other Dohne breeders, because we have nearly 3,000 breeders ourselves, and just meeting the different people and where the breeds come from, it's really interesting. It just shows how versatile a breed can be, and that's been the big thing. It's so versatile, I think, and I think when people realise that, I think it's really going to take off.